There's a lot of data visualization tools out there, and if you're just starting out, it might be overwhelming or difficult to know what you should use. Like some tools might do too much, and some others might not even do exactly what you need. Today, I will go through the different types of data visualization tools that exist, and depending on what you need, whether you're a data analyst, a journalist, or a software developer, we will find out the right tool for you. Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm a software developer focusing on data visualization. And today we'll go through this simple decision diagram that will let you know what is exactly the right data visualization tool for you. So let's dive right in. The first question that you need to ask yourself is like, do you need a quick chart or just a simple report, like something very easy for yourself, like personal finances and so on? And if that's the case, I would recommend that you use Excel. Like, it's a super advanced tool for like small amounts of data, and there's people who are super advanced in it. It doesn't scale too well if you want to do something very big, but it's very good for starting or for simple things that you don't need to share too much. Now, on the other hand, if you don't need a simple report, but you need more like a static infographic or something visual for print or media, where you have like a set of data that you know will not change and you just want to print something for a newspaper or anything, I would actually recommend that you use like Adobe Illustrator or Figma or some of these graphic design tools where you can build something static and that you will not be changing a lot during time or at all. So it's something that you can build once. It will be super pretty because you have the whole control over how it looks. And then you can send it to print, export it as a PDF or so. If you have a lot of data that is changing all the time, I would not recommend to use these tools, because then you will be losing your mind changing pixel by pixel every time the data changes and you need to do like a new report or something. So this will not scale if you have data that's changing. Let's go to the next question. And this is a case where you need a data visualization or a chart and you need it fast, you need it pretty. You probably want to embed it somewhere on the web, so it needs to be interactive, but you really don't want to code or don't have time for that. And if the answer to this question is yes, I would recommend you use, these are just some examples of tools that you can use. They're like Data Wrapper or Flourish. And basically, these are web-based tools where you can put some data in and configure a data visualization that's based on the web just by using like a couple of settings. So it would be super easy for you to create one data visualization, and it will be very pretty. You will do it very fast, and you will probably be done super fast. On the con side is, of course, you are just limited to what these tools offer. If you want something different, if you want something super custom, then maybe you will need something more advanced, and we will go through that later. So on the other side, let's say you need something that's more like for a business, like you work in a big company and you have a lot of data. You need to build more like dashboards that combine a lot of numbers and how things are going. You need to integrate to the databases of the company. You need to filter on data and so on. And this is like a pretty advanced use case of data visualization. And most likely, if you're a data analyst and the answer to this question is yes, I would, of course, recommend you use a business intelligence tool. Most famous right now are like Microsoft Power BI or Tableau. And these are like super blown, like enterprise software. They have free versions that you can start and using and learn. But basically, they offer so many capabilities for like creating your own queries of the data, in very advanced data visualization, connecting them to filters, even doing things out of these visualizations like triggering an email action or things like that. So these are super complex tools, but if you become an expert on these tools, you have a lot of leverage and you can really provide a lot of value for the business that you're working on. So this would be the case if you're like a data analyst for a company. On the other side, this is not what you're doing, but what you need is like a full analytical depth, reproducibility, or scientific workflow where you're analyzing a lot of scientific data from experiments, from like data sets and things like that. And what you need is to analyze and clean this data. If the answer is yes to this, you might probably already be dealing with Python or R, which are programming languages that were just invented for analyzing this type of data, cleaning data, and making sure it's in the shape that you want. And these languages have evolved to also provide tools that allow you to do data visualizations with this data. So there's, for Python, very famous matplotlib or ggplot2 in R. And this is super useful because you can just, in a script, generate the data visualization. So you do need to know a bit of coding. And the downside of these tools is that most probably the data visualizations will be static. So they could be web-based, but they might be just images or just static. There's of course some tools that will let you export them as HTML so that you can create like an online report, but most of the time these tools will be static. If your answer is no to this question, and on the other hand you need like a custom or highly interactive web visualization that maybe no other tool can do, so you need something super custom that maybe you have seen once in the New York Times, interactive stories, or like it's like a chart that is very custom that you could not find somewhere else. Then the first question I would ask is like, are you completely sure that you need this type of visualization? Because if you need like maybe something that's web-based and you're more like a software engineer and you need to embed this on the systems you're working on, then the answer to the question would be no. And in this case, you would go more to using like JavaScript, like charting JavaScript libraries. Some examples are Vegalite, Charts.js, or Plot.js, and they're like JavaScript libraries, so meaning you will need to code and to put this on the web. But they already offer a lot of utilities for things that you can do. You can build bar charts, line charts, circles, and they are very, very advanced tools. But they are, of course, you're still limited by what they offer. I have to say they might already cover 99.9% of the cases of the data visualizations you might need. So my first suggestions would be like, do you need a custom chart for the web? Go to this. If you cannot find or absolutely are sure that these tools don't offer what you need, then you might need to use like the most core of the data visualization tools, like one that supports a lot of or most of the data visualizations that are built on the web. And this is called d3.js. And d3.js is not, it's also a JavaScript library, but it's not a charting library. It's more like a tool set for building data-based graphics on the web. So basically d3.js will not tell you this is a bar chart, but will give you the building blocks to build whatever you want that it's related to data visualization or whatever you want to render on the screen. It's a very low-level tool, and it needs really a lot of knowledge of programming and how it works. So this should probably be your last resort, or if you're really sure what you need is Supercut. Figure out what is it that you need at your work or that you want to learn and you want to get good at, and start exploring some of these tools. But my advice would be to focus on one depending on what you need. By the way, if you're interested in learning a bit more about d3.js, I made a super nice introductory video with all you need to do to get started and to know if it's really the tool that you need to work on. So check it out and see you next time. Bye.